Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gerdes, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
So we briefly talked about it on our last podcast, but it kind of spurred, some more thoughts and some just preparing buyers for when they are looking at homes and going out and shopping and so forth. The first thing that I do when I pull up to a house and meet a buyer for the first time, and I keep reminding them, and I keep reminding them every day that we go out, is you can always assume that there is some sort of listening device, and that these people are either recording, the sellers are recording your conversations and or listening to the conversations, because it can hurt you. Number one is, what we do as real estate wealth managers and what we excel at as a team is our negotiating skills. We know how to negotiate. I think our team is probably one of the better negotiating teams out there. I would stack them up against anyone out there. But the minute that you as a buyer goes in and goes, I absolutely have to have this home. This is the best home. We've got to get this home. Something like that. And the seller's listening. Ryan, you've already lost your negotiating powers. Yep. It makes my job so much harder. Keep your trap shut. Just ask questions. We can talk strategies and we can talk personal feelings once we go outside.
I think as real estate wealth managers, we're doing everything that we can to chase numbers, terms, and conditions. And so those are all decisions made with your brain. And once you start making decisions with your heart, just start adding dollar signs, right? And start surrendering some of your terms and putting more of the chips on the seller's side of the table. That being said, it's okay to go through and say, oh, okay, this is a nice kitchen. Leave it at that, right? Mm-hmm. And then wait until after we can do our debriefing, whether it be at the office or in the car or whatever, and really start digesting what it is that we just saw. So knee-jerk reactions are good, but hey, okay, that's a nice kitchen, but you know what? That's just standard shaker stuff. It's not like custom cabinetry. That's prefab countertops. It's not like somebody went out and actually mined the granite, and getting more of an idea of costs and value so that we can start building out our negotiation strategy and identifying what we should or shouldn't be paying for a property. And so I'm with you, man. If we're in there, keep your mouth shut.
What about going in and being like, I'm gonna have to rip this kitchen out. I mean, this is a nice place, but I'm gonna have to rip this kitchen out.
Then you might be offending sellers.
Right.
Like I want to walk in and walk out and just have vanilla.
Yeah.
I want to leave the least amount of impact on any of those recording devices as possible, and then when I can have those conversations with the seller or with the other agent, then I can start ripping into them, saying, "Hey, look, this is what we saw after we synthesize that information. This is the value that we're throwing on that."
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. You were out of town. I don't remember where you went in. So I took your one of your buyers out. We went house hunting, and so I actually had this kind of spiel, and I go, well, let's take it out front. Unfortunately, we were still too close to the ring doorbell, and the clients loved the house. They wanted the house, and I know my discussion, I don't know exactly what I said, but it was kind of strategies and basically how we strategize and take advantage of sellers and so forth. And the agent calls me. She goes, "What did you say? Our sellers are so mad and so upset." I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was out front.
There's a lot of things I say that can offend people.
But I had to smooth things over, and so our buyers are happy and content, and it's a gorgeous home. But if you're looking for buyer strategies, things that you need to look for, things you need to consider when you're actually looking for homes, all you got to do is text the word buy to 623-AZ-RECON. That's buy to 623-AZ-RECON. All right, so Justin, it was a good segue, and taking a look at the negative things and so forth. And obviously, you don't want to offend the seller. No, you don't call, put baby in a corner. You don't call someone's baby ugly. But Ryan, when you are taking buyers and investors, and to us, they're one and the same, right? It's just a matter of the initial intent of use on that property. What are some of the things that buyers should be looking at? Because for me, buyers sometimes get caught up on the wrong things, the things that you can be easily replaced, the color of the carpet and needs to be painted. What are the things that you are pointing out and that buyers should be looking at and considering?
So just this morning, and this has less to do with the properties themselves, it was just, we were looking at one home this morning because the time constraints. And the reaction was, we can't be interested in this because this is the first home that we've seen. And I was immediately like, that is probably the worst way of looking at this as possible. I'm not saying that we can get a better deal somewhere else. I'm not saying that we can't. What I am saying is that I know that you're on your phone looking at 1,000 listings a day. And out of all of them that are on there, you wanted to look at one today. And this is the one that you chose. And you're saying no because this is the first one that you looked at. That's problematic thinking. And so if you see a good deal and it's right in front of your face, take it, right? If there's some legitimate issues, or, hey, this isn't the home that we thought it was, or, the numbers aren't what we wanted, then okay, let's have a talk about that. And maybe this isn't the property for us. But first and foremost, don't be that person that's afraid of a deal because it's the first one you saw, right? There are some scenarios where there's good stuff right away. Not always the case, but there is that scenario. I do look a lot at quality of build, so I'm going to know a lot about what I'm walking into based on year built that it is. And I can take a look at pictures and get an idea of what kind of roof is there, what kind of foundation, if I have any foundation issues in front of me, if there's, if like 78. Everyone thinks of the year 1978 and they think what? Lead-based paint. But no, there's a number of things that the ROC changed right in that era, and that is moving from cast iron underground over to ABS. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when that underground is going to fail, right? They used to have aluminum wiring in all of their in all their boxes and throughout the home, and then they switched it over to copper. Galvanized piping or poly, and switching that over to copper or PEX. Those are things that I just know that I'm walking into before I even turn the corner down the street to go look at that property. Above and beyond that, there's some really good looking stuff out there that people can get for like flooring. You can get flooring for $1.25 a square foot, and it looks great because that's just what they've done nowadays. But it's not that it's super high end. So for me, I'm looking at, is this actually good quality stuff? And then number two, is it installed properly? Because I see so many corners cut, especially with flooring and then a lot of drywall. I'm looking at fixtures. I'm looking at roof. I'm looking at, I guess those are the kind of things that I'm normally looking at, because I don't care what color it is.
Right.
I don't care that you prefer, brushed nickel over brass. Like all those things, those are just come down to taste and things that you can easily change out. So those things that are easy to change out, I don't care about them. And chances are, no matter what it is, you're probably going to want to change it anyhow.
We got a renovation loan for that too, just by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there.
All right, we'll talk about it in a second. But if you're looking for more information, I'd like to speak to one of our real estate wealth managers and just understand the different things that you should be considering when looking at homes and buying a home. All you got to do is text the word BUY to 623-AZ-RECON. That's BUY to 623-AZ-RECON. All right, Justin. Yeah, so let's talk about renovation loans, because I completely agree with everything that Ryan had to say. Some of the things that I am looking for is what can be done to increase value, because at the end of the day, it is an investment property. Whether you're living in it or whatever,
It's still an investment.
One day, the property is going to be sold. So one of the first things I look for when I go to the kitchen, I'm looking at countertops. I still cannot believe that they make Formica.
Mm-hmm.
Like that should be a law. Like, you cannot make Formica, you cannot install Formica.
I think you can in a garage.
I'm looking at overall kitchen. Are these bathrooms going to need to be redone? Is there a space? I'm always looking at depending on where in the valley a buyer or an investor is looking. I prefer 4-bedroom over a 3-bedroom. Now, if it has a den, can that be easily converted into a 4th bedroom without taking away too much of the livable space? Because especially after COVID, that home office is imperative.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking at things that are going to improve value, but sometimes we just don't have that available cash.
Right, and a lot of our first-time homebuyers don't have that available cash, or even people that are trying to jump into a home and redo the whole thing. But even for simple things, paint, flooring, but maybe it's just light fixtures and fixtures for your faucets and your showers. You can do a renovation loan for all that. You can do a renovation loan to replace the AC units. You could do the roof. You could put in a pool. I think this product is very underutilized because I feel like there's a lot of places out there that has good bones, and they're just missing a few pieces. But all that adding up is too much cost for a buyer to take on out of pocket, and we can finance all that and keep your down payment 3% down for a first-time home buyer or 5% down for a second-time home buyer, and we can do it on investment properties, second homes.
All right. If you want to talk to Justin about a renovation loan and whether you're buying a home and you're going to do some renovations can you refi with a renovation loan?
You can absolutely refi with a renovation loan. Now, depends on how much equity you have. If you have a ton of equity and you have a good rate on your first mortgage, I'm going to suggest a home equity line of credit rather than getting rid of that great rate on your first mortgage. It really just depends on how much cash you're looking to get, how much remodeling you're looking to get done, and then how long is it going to take you to pay it off? And then we can calculate what product works best for you.
All right. If you'd like some more information about renovation loans and talk to Justin and his team, all you got to do is text the word loan to 623-AZ-RECON. That's loan to 623-AZ-RECON. Ryan, I can't believe neither one of us have brought it up already. I'm also, when we go outside, I'm taking a look at that AC unit. Taking a look at year.
Obviously, that's a big expense and a big factor here in Maricopa County. But I think anything that has to do with energy efficiency. So, and we'll probably have to do another whole podcast on that and what offerings that we have out there. But whether it's shoring up AC units, something that's a little bit more energy efficient, making sure that it's the coils are cleaned and so on and so forth for maintenance. But I am not. Surprise, surprise. I'm not a bleeding heart, hey, let's save the world kind of guy. For me, it has all to do with what is it going to cost in order to run my household. But there's a lot of opportunities out right now that are making a lot of financial sense to move over to whether it be solar or upgrading your panels or making sure that your windows are good, because the cost of energy is just going up quite a bit. And so having those things in place are getting more and more ideal. Now, what does that do for your home value? You usually want to make sure that you're going to own that property for a minimum of 5 years before you start really dropping some coin on that, because the market just isn't there yet where they really see that kind of value in it. And so appraisers aren't really given that kind of value, nor are buyers really seeing it. It will eventually. But for me, I need function. So I always look at function first. So if we're doing 4 bedrooms, I need to make sure we have that 2.5 bath or 3rd bath in there. I'm looking for things like that. Above and beyond that, the first place that you're going to get your biggest rate of return is your kitchen. The second place, master bathroom. And then after that, it's the other bathrooms and then flooring. Now, there is no better salesman out there than Mr. Paint Job. So if at the very least you're getting ready to sell your home, chances are you're going to need a paint job. So that's the data. But you know who's number one in knowing all this stuff? Home builders. So if you are like, hey, I want to do something to really ramp up my home before I put it on the market, go into the closest, newest home builder. So not a home builder that's been there for several years, but one that just broke ground and has a model out there. They're going to show you what the newest trends are for that neighborhood because they live in Consumer Reports.
All right, if you'd like some more information on what to look for when buying a home and you want to talk to one of our real estate wealth managers, all you got to do is text the word buy to 623-AZ-RECON. That's buy to 623-AZ-RECON. I end with this. I had a deep thought over the weekend because my wife was going down that road of buying an electric car, and all this stuff. If the government is truly, and I'm no intellectual property attorney, I'm no attorney at all, okay? But if the government is so consumed with and so concerned with the globe and the world, and they're expecting us to be concerned about it too, how come they just don't force Elon Musk and Tesla to make all charging stations have adapters so that you can, as an electric car owner, plug in anywhere? Now you're proving to me that you really care about the globe.
Good
Good
luck.
point.
Good luck telling Elon Musk to do anything.
You might have to serve him a warrant up in space. All right, text the word buy to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.